Let's decorate a 5-inch square cake with ornaments and trees on top. Perfect for a winter birthday. Hello, I'm Rox and welcome to my kitchen. If you're new here, my passion is helping you make sweet treats. Intro animation. Because adults need sweet things too. I start this project by making 2 batches of my Swiss meringue buttercream. I have an awesome recipe for that. I do start this project with my standard round 8-inch cake board, but if I were to go back and do this over again, I do have to say that I should have done probably a square cake board, or at least gone with something bigger, like a 10-inch round cake board. It makes the cake process a lot easier, and I can explain why in a bit. So here's the cake board. Add buttercream on board so the cake doesn't slip. I do my best to get each square centered. Place cake layer. I dance while I'm decorating. Fill with 2 scoops of buttercream. Second cake layer. And press between each layer. I color the purple cake AmeriColor Lilac. I do not recommend that particular color. There are pink speckles in it. And I thought, this is a one-time occurrence, so I baked 2 more cakes with the AmeriColor Lilac, and it's just something it does. Fill and smooth between each layer with the angled spatula. Another cake layer. Again, always press between each layer. Make sure it's level. When the filling is still pliable, aka not cold yet, the layers can move around. Fill. Cake layer. Almost done filling. Last cake layer. Press, press, press. Here comes a crumb coat. Spread a thin layer of frosting across the cake and remove the excess in order to lock in the crumbs. I refrigerate the crumb for 26 minutes to help stabilize. I realize every refrigerator is different. Sometimes I roll right into the cake frosting portion, but I definitely felt that this cake needed more stability. Basically, I refrigerate until the frosting is firm to the touch. Tap, tap, tap. Tip. Tiff animation can go right here. Tip. Do not add the removed frosting back into the main frosting for the cake. You'd be adding frosting back into the main cake, and it just looks so professional, crumb-free. While I'm refrigerating my crumb-coated cake, I color my frosting. I'm linking here how I achieve bright colors with less food coloring. You know what? At this point, I loved the blue so much, and it reminded me of the ocean from SpongeBob SquarePants that I almost switched over to making that cake. Add some frosting to the top of the cake, enough to cover it. This will be about 1/4 inch thick. Smooth this out with an angled spatula. For this next step, I use an acrylic disc, plastic wrap, and tape. Then I cover the acrylic disc with plastic wrap and tape the sides. Only pulling gently. I place a parchment square down on the cake, then place the acrylic disc tape side out, center that acrylic disc. I find it helpful to use 2 cake scrapers to help center it. I use a level to help get a straight cake. Then I fill around the top edges with an angled spatula. Frost the sides of the cake. Make sure to get into those corners too. Smooth with an angled spatula. Frost, frost, frost. Continue adding buttercream to any holes. Then smooth out the sides with a bench scraper. I decided to freeze my cake for 10 minutes to make frosting just a little bit easier. And earlier I mentioned having a larger cake board. Well, as I'm pulling the bench scraper across the cake, so it's smoother when you can anchor the bottom of the cake scraper against something and there's no groove down. So it's basically a continuous smoothing. So I continue removing frosting with the bench scraper. I just take my time and slowly remove the buttercream. In some cases, I actually even add frosting back to any really deep grooves. But keep removing until you're happy with the cake. Now, you can cut out the disc with a knife. Remove the plastic slowly while adjusting the plastic that's over the edges of the acrylic disc. Slide off the acrylic disc gently. Remove the parchment paper. I love this blue. It's so frosty and cold and winter. And look how clean and sharp these edges are. And now what you're seeing here is a cake that's cool and firm to the touch, perfect for decorating. Here what you're seeing, I am creating a line guide. In a piping bag with a number 5 tip, pipe a straight wire across the cake. Here, I feel I'm fighting gravity with the lines going across. Then I create the lines that are going down. It is totally fine that the lines are not perfect. I really feel like adding leaves and ornaments is really gonna come out and balance the cake. There's so many holiday icing transfers out there. If you've seen my previous videos, I've purchased these from my friend Melissa, the Sprinkle Robot. I love supporting small businesses. Uh-oh, I'm having a tough time attaching the sprinkles. Which reminded me of my favorite tip. My favorite tip for adding icing transfers as well as sprinkles without the use of tweezers. Add a little shortening to the tip of your finger. I prefer organic shortening. Pick up the transfer, place it wherever you like on the cake, and easily move it around. Here's the leaf piping tip. It's a 352 tip. I love this cake so much because even if you stop here, you have a cake that your family is going to be excited about. You know what happened during this project? I placed this cake in the fridge and hit something, taking a chunk out of my cake. To take this cake to the next level, I love adding Christmas trees to the top of the cake. I prepped piping bags, 2 of them, with 1M tips. Slowly pipe from larger to smaller while applying even pressure to the piping bag. These are shorter than the trees for my round Christmas cake. Tip: if a tree is uneven, you can actually stick a toothpick in and straighten it. Remember to remove the toothpick. My first YouTube classic Christmas tree cake is so cute because it has tiny miniature Christmas trees on top. Now for the final touches, I promised myself that I would use the sprinkles that I keep buying. I purchased sprinkles that look a lot like Christmas tree baubles / ornaments to me. I'm excited about them. Add sprinkles, bigger ones individually by hand, And then I add a sprinkle of smaller sprinkles from the mix. For my last cake, I thought it would be so fun to add powdered sugar to the cake to create a snow effect. This time around, I thought it would be so glorious to add a spritz of glitter across all of the Christmas trees, but I didn't really capture as much as I'd hoped to on video. How Christmassy and festive. Whoa, MG. Square Christmas cake success. At this point, I did realize something was missing, so I add more large red sprinkles from my mix. Happy birthday to all of you holiday babes. Hit that bell notification and a like to get the latest videos. And coming up is a cake decorating playlist that I am always adding videos to. Thanks for hanging with me. See you soon. So I'm trying to do this thing where I share more of what's going on in my life. This upcoming month, at the time of filming this video, I'm going to be making over 100 cocoa bombs. So I've been practicing, and you'll see this showing up on my feed a little bit soon, but how cute. I have Baby Yoda cocoa bombs. I have little mini seals. So yeah, DM me if you have any cute ideas for cocoa bombs. I can't wait to melt these and drink them up. Woo. What's a swim noise? Shh. Oh, it's so cute.